Here we go for another edition of Jofo in the Ring. And yes, my name is Frank Jofo, and we got a special guest. His name, The Animal, Bob Anger. What's going on, The Animal? What's happening?
What's up, Jofo? What's up? How you doing?
Good. Yourself?
I'm very good. It's been a good 2 weeks.
Obviously, you're from Montreal, like myself, right?
Yep.
We're in quarantine. We're in red alert here, and it looks like it's never going to end. How the hell are you keeping sane in this quarantine and this pandemic in Montreal right now?
Well, I'm a comic book artist by day, so A lot of my life has been online over the last 17 years. So with Instagram and Twitter and Facebook and stuff, that's how I kind of like run my business as far as promotion goes. So I've been there a long time. And as far as like, getting out of the house, you do what you can. But I have a studio. I'm so lucky. It's really cool. I have a studio that's maybe a 5-minute walk from my house.
Oh, wow.
And it's like 3,000 square feet. It used to be Hell's Angels like nightclub hangout, and it got blown up in the 90s, and then they rebuilt it, and now it's the Animals. And that's where I hang out during the day, so my wife doesn't want to beat my ass if I stay home. Gotta get out of the house in COVID. You gotta separate.
That's
it.
Because
Animal and Mrs. Animal, you put us together too long and we tear each other apart.
Well, I'm sure your wife is happy now that you're in studio and not at home with the. You walk around with the mask at home, and I know you have kids and everything. So are they scared of you when they see you with that mask?
No, my daughter loved it.
Yeah,
What's really funny is my daughter has the record for youngest W in Quebec history.
Wow.
She was 6 months old, and we got her into a match at IWS, and I was against Sunny Soleil. And I gave him my finisher, and he was down, and like my wife just like rolled the baby in, and we gave it like frog splash style, like on
That's
top of
a
him.
moment. That's a moment.
Yeah,
You know what?
and,
when she's older, she'll be able to see that, and you'll tell her the story. She's never going to believe you, because obviously she's not going to remember what happened when she was 6 months old. But wow, what a moment, though. Eh?
Yeah. We got video and photos and all
That's
kinds of stuff.
amazing.
Having a crash course for IWS,
Okay.
and it was the first time I was in my gear that she had seen me, and like I went to go pick her up, and I thought she'd be like scared shitless because I'm like crazy when I'm the animal in the ring. And like right away she was laughing. She like picked her up, and she's like, I love this, man. So I hope to get her in the ring one day. My wife is also super tall. We're both 6'2", and her dad's like 6'7", and me and all my family were over 6 feet, so I think she's gonna be like this, like super tall, like. So
you're already prepping her up for an IWS.
Speedball Mike Bailey and Shayne Hawke are gonna get her into that ring super early. Yeah.
So talk to us about IWS, because I know right now, like us in Montreal, like for me, I'm salivating. I'm watching WWE Raw, I'm watching AEW, but I'm missing that little local touch of wrestling. IWS Wrestling is our thing here in Montreal, and we are salivating for it. And how was your journey to IWS back in the day when you had Kevin Owens, you had El Generico, you had Sexy Eddie, all these guys, these known guys, and you've wrestled all of them.
Yeah, those are the only two that I haven't met in the ring.
Okay.
I kind of got into it later in life, and those guys had just gone to WWE.
Okay.
Like I'm talking by like a month or two. They were gone.
Okay.
So what happened was I was like one of the first, I think I was like the second student at the IWS dojo.
Okay.
And the way it worked is when I lived downtown Toronto for all my college years and a lot of my 20s. And there just wasn't a lot of wrestling. You didn't hear about it anyway. I think there was rules in place in Ontario that you needed special insurance.
Oh, really?
So they didn't have a lot of shows, and they were downtown. It was never like advertised or posted, and they didn't have shows. Like
not like IWS in Montreal, because when you walk downtown and IWS show is happening, you know there's a IWS show happening. That's
totally.
Yeah.
So when I moved to Montreal, I had a studio, and I started making friends at Ubisoft because I was doing work at Ubisoft, and they started bringing me to live shows, and it sparked like my whole love of wrestling from when I was a kid. And I started doing posters and merch and t-shirts and all kinds of crazy stuff for Phantom and Shayne Hawke and all those guys. And Shayne Hawke was like, hey, we're opening a school. You're a big guy. Why don't you come train with us? You know, and him and I are close friends. We had been close friends for a few years after I moved to Montreal in 2012. And I was hooked like immediately. I think it was my second practice match. And I was just like,
because you have the look of a wrestler. You have the build of a wrestler. You're 6'2". You know, there's over 6 footer is to me is an automatic, like you're a heavyweight. You're that guy, and you know what I mean. Like guys like Sexy Eddie are a little bit smaller, but they have to show up a little bit more than you, right?
Yeah. Like Sexy Eddie. I worked with Sexy Eddie a lot when I was younger, and if he ever steps to me again, he's a dead motherfucker. Actually, there is a piece of Sexy Eddie's ass that's missing because I tore a piece out of that ass. I pulled down those trunks and just bit it off. He was asking for it. You know, he's slippery.
The way he portrays himself and in the ring, he's asking for it. You know, the Sexy Eddie gimmick and everything. But
I always thought, you know, I would break him in half. But Sexy Eddie, I always thought that Animal and Sexy Eddie would make a really great tag team called the Sexy Animals. Like,
you just started that right now, eh?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, and then I'd be Sexy Animal, so I'd have like the trunks, you know, but like, you know, Animal doesn't really understand how to be sexy, so it'd be like, you know, like
that's why you're the Animal.
Like show him.
Who was with Kane? Like wasn't there one where it was like Kane was trying to be funny with somebody else in the tag, like back in the day?
Well, that's maybe with Daniel Bryan, maybe.
Daniel Bryan.
Yeah. Like a gimmick like that.
Yeah,
might be in Eddie's best interest.
To team up with you. Sexy Animal would be real funny. Yeah, I remember. Okay, so one of my first matches ever was against Eddie, and I just remember him being like using his like cock like tractor beam on me, and like the animal's just like, it's too sexy, I was like trying to hide from it. It was like super funny. God, I love him.
So sex, and there's also as well, I'm sure you know who Jeremy Prophet is. He's from Montreal as well, and a great wrestler, and we're still waiting for him to make it on the big stage. So I don't know. Do you have anything to bring up with Jeremy Prophet?
Jeremy Prophet. He's like the tag team champion at IWS right now.
Yes, he is. Yeah, and he's the longest reigning GNW champion.
Animal Kingdom should have that belt. My tag team, Kuma, we should be the champion. So don't get too comfortable, Jeremy Prophet. I don't need to see clear to fracture that rear. When it comes to these guns, there is no doubt I'm going to turn his eyeballs inside out. He's got nothing.
Do you know Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn personally, or is it just like
No, I've only met them sort of like in passing, but what's really cool, and I want to preface this real quick, I love Prophet a lot.
We all do.
He's a friend of mine. I love him a lot. I love him a lot. He's a sweetheart. He helped the Animal on his Kickstarter video.
Wow, we saw that.
Pretty much by beating my ass.
That's what he does. Jeremy Prophet. And on, like you were saying, Kickstarter. I'm on Twitter and I see Mother Trucker trending on Twitter. I'm like, what the hell's going on here? I'm like, this is the real deal. So I don't know if you want to talk about that a little bit in depth, so people know what's going on with Mother Trucker, because it's on the map right now and people know what's going on with Mother Trucker. So if you want to give them a little insight.
Yeah. So I have a Kickstarter right now called Mother Trucker.
Okay.
And it's about a super hot space trucking, ass stomping wrestle goddess named Mother Trucker, who trucks through the galaxy looking for her long lost daughter and looking to become the champion of Truck Off, which is the Wrestlemania of the Starways. So let's say you have the Walmart Championship belt.
Okay.
Right. And this is the biggest entertainment in the galaxy. It's a cross between WWE and trucking.
Okay.
So let's say you have the Walmart Championship belt and I'm a trucker and I want it. I roll up on side you and challenge you to a fight. And the back of our trucks, the rig, transforms into a ring and we wrestle. And as soon as you're on the hot space highways and the rig's open, everyone shows up. Like people stop their vehicles and everyone kind of freaks out and comes over and watches the fight go down. And truck off is like the Wrestlemania where all the belts are available. So they go on rings around Saturn, and it's like a giant race / wrestling match. Because I always thought it'd be really dope to have a wrestling match on the back of a truck when you're flying down the 401.
Well, it looks like you're making your dreams come true. But is it something like you must have a team of people of writing this or drawing this as well, or is it just you, me, myself, and I kind of thing?
No, it's just the animal.
It's just
so
I'm
wow. writing it and drawing it.
Wow.
And
okay.
I have a colorist in Mexico named Tato Caballero, who's just like freaking genius. That guy. I work with him at Heavy Metal Magazine. I used to work at Heavy Metal Magazine.
Yes.
I've done like maybe 6-7 stories. I work with Grant Morrison and Duncan Trussell and Donnie Cates and Colin Bunn and Dan Fogler and I did this awesome story for Megadeth. And I got a email back from Dave Mustaine, and he was like, "It's my favorite one in the book." So I was like pretty blown away because I'm a big Megadeth fan.
Yeah, because you're getting a lot of good publicity here, and a lot of people are getting excited about this this comic. And can you tell them? Can you tell the viewers out there when will it be coming out?
So our Kickstarter's running right now. So there's all kinds of different tiers. Like you can get tiers where I draw you stuff. There's tiers where I can just draw you mother trucker naked, whatever. People like that. People love that stuff. Yeah, and you know, you can get all the different covers and different artwork and stuff like that. And the crowdfunding campaign ends November 20th. And then it takes like 2 weeks for Kickstarter to sort of get all their money sorted out. And then the printer takes about 3 weeks to 4 weeks to get it all printed up, especially at Christmas during COVID.
And you're doing this all by yourself.
All by myself. Yeah.
Wow, this is unbelievable.
I actually have a partner in the studio named Masao Kobayashi who runs the video game. I have a studio space with a video game startup called Cut to Bits. And he's one of the producers, and he's helping me run this Kickstarter because they want to do a big one day. So, you know, we're working together to do this one. So, you know, he's got the experience when they go to do theirs. And then I have a letterer that does all like the speech balloons and all that stuff. And then if you saw the Kickstarter video, you know, it's like Shayne Hawke and Speedball and Prophet and the raccoon, Jason Petitclair, who runs XEW and Sorel. They all helped me out, and it was like really beautiful. I have to say, like, it's a crazy community, but I find the wrestling community to be way more supportive of each other.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Than the comic industry.
You know what? And like everyone I've talked to, like, wow, it's something different. And you know what? Different works. And honestly, your passion you have in this is only going to take it to the top. And honestly, once like we were talking about today that we're going to donate something to Kickstarter to help you guys out as well.
Oh, right on.
But because it's like we had a guy named Joey Casada, and he does. He made his TV pilot into a book, his first season, because of the COVID. He couldn't do anything now. So once he did, instead of waiting a couple more months to do it, he made it into a book, and he's got Mick Foley in it, and he's got Ric Flair in it, and he's got Hulk Hogan. You know, and I'm sure the more you push at it with Mother Trucker, I'm sure the guys would like to collaborate with you. I'm sure. Is there anyone that we know in the wrestling world that wants to collaborate with this, or have you reached out to
well, I don't know about that yet. I know Drew Gulak was like retweeting my stuff on Twitter.
Oh wow!
Because he's buddies with Mega Drive, who is the guy that did the music for my videos. Wrestler. And Drew Gulak's awesome. And I do the music guy, Mega Drive. I do his album covers. So it's like it's a small world. It's such a small world.
That's what I'm saying, man. Like when we talked, and they're like, I fought Sexy Eddie, I fought Prophet. I'm like, wow. I'm like, okay, I gotta get this guy on the show. Plus, I'm like, isn't this the same guy that I saw trending on Twitter? I'm like, what's going on here?
Yeah,
like,
that was
cool,
crazy.
man.
The trending on Twitter thing was crazy.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah, we raised $9,000 in 3 hours. It was.
Like I said, it was trending, and it was just going up, and I'm like, okay, what's going on here? Like, this is unbelievable. I'm so happy for him, and because you don't see that every day, right? And the people are giving back, and you know what? And it must be something good because they're helping you out, and they know that you could pull this off, and we can't wait for December to come out.
putting all that money back into the business.
That's
right?
amazing. That's amazing.
Like I'm making a business out of this, and this is how I'm going to do things from now on. Because comic book publishers won't even touch it. If a comic book publisher hears the word wrestling, they like run for the hills.
Really? That's how it works. Well, because it's too extreme, too violent, or
no, it's just they don't want to mix wrestling in their comic book world, and it literally is like the same thing. Like I have like comic book guys being like, "Oh, I don't know why you're into that wrestling stuff." And I'm like, "Dude, you draw Batman. Like you draw dude in tights who beats up guys.
Yeah.
I not only draw that, but I do that." Like
exactly. That's wrestling. Batman could have been a wrestler for all we know.
Like what's your deal? What's your deal? Like you don't like a ring? Like what's your deal? Like so there's a lot of that, and I had to really like try and convince publishers, and they just weren't getting on board. And I was like, my idea is it's my passion project. Like I became a wrestler to make this comic.
Yeah.
And it's taken, unfortunately, like it's a bummer, but it took COVID to like shut everything down and then give me the time to work on it.
A lot of people I've talked to, like in the wrestling world, like I said, we just had a guy named Danny Lima, and he goes, COVID was probably the best thing that happened to him, because then you get to you schedule yourself to do certain things that you probably wouldn't have done if you were working or doing something else, and not chained up at home in the studio there, like yourself, and even us too as well. Like we're on the best run of our lives right now with Jofo in the ring, and it's all because of COVID. It sucks to say,
it sucks
of COVID, but you know what? That we have to get some positives out of this as well, and that's one of them for us. And I know that's one positive for you as well. Like you have the studio, you have everything going for you, so it's looking good.
I lost one of my best friends from high school to COVID.
Wow.
First one to pass away in Kitchener-Waterloo area where I was going to high school and stuff. He was the first one to pass away from that.
Okay.
So it was like a real bummer, but at the same time, the way COVID worked is I did humongous jobs right before it hit. So I had money and nothing but time. And my wife was like, Mrs. Animal was like, it's time to do this project. You've been talking about it for 5 years.
Perfect
You
timing
love it.
too,
You
right?
have everything designed. Like, do it. So I did it, and it's working out so well. And just watching the response on Kickstarter means that I can make this a business, and I don't need anybody. I need people, but like I don't need publishers anymore. Like if you're a
you can do it all yourself.
Yeah, if you're a publisher, I have to make books for you, books that you think that you like, in order for me to have a job. And I don't think that's always healthy.
So, because then you're getting told what to do, what to put in the book, and then your ideas literally get reshuffled into their ideas after, right?
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, you were talking earlier about Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn.
Yeah.
And Andrew Stott, Shayne Hawke, and I worked for WWE with Boom Studios.
Okay.
And our first project was the coming of age story of Kevin and Sami in Montreal, leading up to their ladder match in ROH, and then their match in WWE. That was
the
really,
culmination.
really
because when I witnessed Kevin, I first it was Sami Zayn that came on the scene. It was the U.S. Open Challenge against John Cena, and I kind of knew him from NXT, but I didn't really know he was from Montreal. Then Kevin Owens was the NXT champion at the time, and I didn't know he was from Montreal, Quebec, Canada as well. So, but I just got drawn into these guys and then I found out that they were from actually Quebec, and it's like, wow, it's an extra bonus for me because I love to support people from Montreal and Quebec as well, and those two are my two favorite wrestlers right now as in WWE right now.
I love Kevin so much.
Yeah,
he's so good. But Chase Parker and Matt Martell.
Okay, yeah.
Ever Rise that are on 205 Live and NXT.
Yes,
so
they fought on NXT last night actually.
Yeah. So Matt Martell was my trainer for 2 years.
Oh wow.
Here in Montreal.
Is he Rick the Model Martel's son, or is he related to him?
No.
Well, I had to ask because Martel, Rick. I remember Rick the Model Martel with the fragrance, the arrogance there that used to spray there back in the day. So I had to ask.
Well, maybe he is. I don't know. I don't want to ruin his shtick. Maybe he is.
Rick Martel, I'm pretty sure he is from Montreal or Laval. I'm pretty sure that's what I've heard.
He could be.
Well, maybe we're gonna have to ask him one day. So,
yeah,
continue with the story.
Matt Martell is God, one of my favorite human beings on the planet. He's just literally the funniest guy, but like dark funny. You know what I mean? When I watch a movie and there's a bully, I normally like the bully. And like, you know, so when I was like doing what you guys were doing before I started, you know, going to like IWS shows and Battle War and stuff, whenever Big Magic Matt Martell came on, I was just like, this guy's the best. Like, what a bully. He's so good.
And you get drawn to that, eh?
Huh?
You get drawn to that, eh? Like a character like that. I mean, I love wrestling characters like that.
Oh, I love him. I love him. It's the best. Yeah. So he was my trainer, and now even more so is Speedball, Mike Bailey.
Mike Bailey.
So I work with Speedball, Mike Bailey, doing like private classes. So it's like one-on-one action, and basically I get beat up every week by Mike Bailey. Like, that man is not human. He's like Spider-Man, you know what I mean? And like we'll go just have a practice match, and he'll do like 3 flips into the ring, and I'm whoa. And I eat like at least 3 or 4 super kick sandwiches a week. Like, and I know he's holding back, but I'm still getting kicked in the face.
we're gonna have to. You know what? I'm gonna reach out to Speedball and ask him a couple of questions about you as well. But when like let's say like there's somebody like. A lot of my friends go, hey, Frank, is there a place where I could go and train to be a wrestler in Montreal? Is there a place? Like I said, now with COVID and everything, I know it's a little harder, but and when things start picking up again, is there a place where I could go or someone could go and become a wrestler, if just for a pastime or just to, you know, just to see how it really is? Because a lot of people watch wrestling and they're like, I could do that. Put them in the ring. It's a different story.
No, you can't do that. Let me tell you, as a guy who couldn't do it and to a guy who can do it now, it's real hard.
Yeah, it's the real deal.
Super hard. Just the level of fitness is crazy.
But you have to be in shape. You have to be in shape.
Crazy shape.
You have to be in shape. These guys are getting knocked around. Like me back in the day, I used to do rinky dinky ones, and I ended up renting a ring, and we did a little show for about 200-300 people, and the next day, and for actually not the next day, the next 3-4 days, my back had literally 3 ropes on my back, a bruise, and they're like that. But that's like the normal thing everyone does. I'm like, well, I'm not in shape, you know, like I'm doing this just for fun. But I could imagine someone like you or and all these other wrestlers. It's not. Remember they say it's fake. There's no fake or behind it too. It's not fake.
Yeah, no, it's not. Nothing's fake. You're getting beat up for real.
Yeah, you're getting beat up.
And there's got to be a weird part of you that kind of digs it. Like,
there has to be. There has to be. You put your life on the line sometimes, you know?
You love getting beat up. He's crazy. But yeah, where you want to go is the IWS Dojo. It's amazing. It's so good. And out of all of the schools they have in Quebec, you get opportunities to actually wrestle. Like in shows, on TV. Like I was there maybe 6-7 months, and I was doing like dark matches and all kinds of stuff. None of the other schools do that.
Okay.
But what I will say is, you got to get out fast.
You got to be there. You got to show effort. You know.
Now is like a special time because we have Mike Bailey here. He's stuck here. He's gonna be signed like probably when this is finished. He'll be gone.
Wow, good for him.
So. You know, and we get a lot of amazing pros that come in to train us. And Shayne Hawke is an amazing wrestling teacher. He's unreal. Shayne Hawke is unreal when it comes to promo work.
Okay.
Like, he blows my mind as a writer and a comic creator and like lifelong. Watching that man talk about story and match structure and promo work is his promo classes are like the most fun thing ever.
I can imagine.
But as far as learning to wrestle, he taught me to wrestle. Like
because I know Sexy Eddie has always said Kevin Owens is one of the gods of promos, and like you could basically say, okay, this match, and you'll work the match backwards to the beginning so that you know what's going on, and that just that thinking about that is like insane because your life is basically on in his hands too as well, vice versa, right? So
Yeah.
you have to be
Yeah.
able to trust these guys, and if you have a guy like Kevin Owens and like you were saying, Speedball and Hawk, then these guys here, like they're very trustworthy in the ring. So I'm sure they give a lot of insight and stuff to become a wrestler, and
Wild.
that's great
Yeah.
for Montreal too.
Speedball has wrestled a lot in Japan. I think he was on TV in Japan.
Okay, I didn't know that.
In Japan, and he's teaching us a very Japanese method of wrestling.
Okay, the Japanese style.
In not just the strong style stuff. Like I always like strong style. Like if someone's gonna throw a strike at me, it's like please, for the love of God, you better hit me. Like, because if you don't hit me, and like an audience member sees like this happening, I'm gonna be real mad. Like, at least, like, don't hit me full out, but just give me a little kiss, you know,
just a little tap there, you know.
Yeah, just a little kiss. It's all right. It's all right. I'd rather that, and a lot of guys don't like that. A lot of guys want it way softer, but like for me, I like a little bit stronger style just because I like it to look a little more real, and but not the strong style. It's more like the structure of the way matches work is what Speedball's doing.
Okay.
So you know, in WWE, you got your 5 moves of doom. Getting there, blah blah blah. But like Speedball is very much about your sequences of doom. You know what I mean? So you'll have very very elaborate parts. So I've been working on the same match for I don't know 5 months, 4 months, 5 months.
Okay.
Perfecting the same match that has maybe I don't know 100 moves in it, 150 moves.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So you want to like remember that, and then once you know that cold, going into other matches is really easy because you can like, you know, like I have my main 2 finishing moves, but if a guy's over 260 or 270,
that's a little harder. Yeah,
it might not happen. So then I gotta go, you know, body slam, top rope cane clothesline into a frog splash because I can't give him my kryptonite crunch or my spinning TKO, you know. Because you don't want it to look like, you know, I get him and it's like, oh, no.
Oh no, boom, you know.
Yeah, and that's happened. Yeah, that's happened to me a few times where the guy was just too big. Yeah.
Where did the animal name come from? Was it just something that just popped in your head, or was it someone that because you've worn a mask your whole career, right?
Yeah.
So.
It actually came from Shayne Hawke.
Okay.
My original idea for my wrestling persona was my name was just going to be your dad, and I was going to come out with like a Cosby sweater and like slacks and a rolled up newspaper,
like Mr. Nice Guy kind of the gimmick,
and like if it was a big match that I was going to be in, I would come in a wife beater and like with like booze, be like, oh no, drunk dad's really bad. And I'd have like a reverse backbreaker, and then I just spank you with a newspaper or something. That was my first idea for a character.
Because then, people that see you come down the aisle, are they booing you or are they cheering for you?
Oh, the animal?
Yeah.
Oh, I get cheered. I'm
okay. Because I'm sure a lot of people would be no offense. I'm sure they'd probably be scared of you because of the mask, right? In reality,
I have some diehard Quebec wrestling fans that hate my ass. That's for sure.
I'm sure. You know what? Those are the best fans.
And there's just a few guys that sit there in the front row.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like, so I went heel for the first time, like right before COVID, and it was weird because all the kids in the audience, I'm like a kid's favorite, and the second I went heel, the kids were like, no, it can't be bad. And I was like, maybe this was a mistake.
Oh,
anyway,
my God. Is there going to be more of the Animal Bob Anger and IWS in the future when things start opening up again, or are you just going to be sticking to your comic now?
Oh no! I'm back hardcore. I'm full blast.
Great.
Yeah,
great.
Yeah, we just did a tea taping a month ago.
Okay.
And there was 16 wrestlers, and everyone had to wrestle 2-3 matches, and I had a bunch of matches in there that they filmed, and that was a rough day. Any more than one match,
I could imagine. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so I had a few in that, and it'll air on RDS and Fight Network and stuff like that. Then I came back the next week and did all my promo work for it. So, yeah, Speedball's turning the animal into like a.
You're keeping busy. You're keeping busy. That's good.
Yeah,
and And obviously Manny was there as well, the IWS president as well. Can you talk a little bit about him? Because we know not too many people know much about him, but we're trying to get. We're like we said, we're behind the IWS here in Montreal. And we want to see more. We want more, and hopefully once this pandemic ends, IWS comes back stronger, and I know they will.
PCP Crazy Manny?
Yes.
Man of mystery. No one knows much about PCP Crazy Manny.
Keeps to himself. Keeps to himself.
Yeah. Manny is to me, he's been an absolutely amazing guy. I mean, I have a career because of Manny. I would say he's taken a lot of chances on me that didn't always work. Didn't go the way it should have, and he keeps doing it. So, he has, like, it's a good thing to say about the dojo. You know what I mean? He has faith in the people that he puts there. He has faith in the students, and I wouldn't be where I am without Manny. Whenever Manny asks me for a drawing, he gets it like that. He's got a huge tattoo of a skull on his arm that I did for him.
Oh, wow.
But Manny works so hard
on
that show.
Yeah.
In the background, you have no idea. The stuff he does, like trying to get sponsors, trying to get everything like for the shows when it comes to your lighting and sound, and
it must be a production like crazy over there. I could just imagine, and especially with COVID now, you have to get people in, and you have to at certain times you can't be there. I'm sure it was a lot different when COVID wasn't around, right? The schedule was a little bit more open now, but now everything has to be. You have to be tested, and you have to the temperature checks and everything. Everyone has to be okay because one guy goes down, it might just screw up the whole damn show, So
I had a friend in Colorado that told me a horror story that he did a show on the weekend. He does sound and he has a podcast.
Okay.
And they did a show, and after the show, a guy called them up and was like, "Oh, guys, sorry, I forgot to tell you, my roommate has COVID." And they all got COVID, and then Colorado, the government came in and shut down everything.
Oh my God! Wow, that sucks.
Yeah, you've seen the States; they're just wrestling like nothing's going down.
Well, that's what it seems. That's what it seems like. I'm sure they're just biting the bullet and say, "Okay, let's see how far we could go." But at least I know that a lot of people are getting a little bit pissed off of what's going on in Montreal with the closures and everything. But it's just to say, would I rather be at home doing nothing now and not be able to see my family in for Christmas time? Like, obviously, everyone's gonna want to see everybody for Christmas. So if we're doing whatever we want to do, like the States is doing right now, we're screwed in December, and I'm not going to be able to have open presents with my family and my grandmother and my parents as well. So I'm sure you're keeping close. You have a family as well, so you have to be cautious too when you go to the shows too, right?
I don't know what it takes. Like one of my best friends died. Like, what does it take before you?
Exactly. This is real. It's real.
Yeah. And I think that's just it. As of these denier people, like, what has to happen? Your wife has to die.
Yeah, someone close to you has to get sick and die, and
dad,
it's yeah. Are you doing any more projects with WWE in the future, or was it just as a one-shot deal?
No, they discontinued the WWE comics that we were working on. Okay. So we did some really great stuff.
Shayne Hawke looked great,
for me, and I was drawing, but we did one on Jake the Snake and Ricky Steamboat. That was great. Wow. We did one on Braun Strowman and Roman Reigns. We obviously did that one with Kevin and Sammy, but the big one, and we actually beat out a few people for the gig, was Andrew and I got to write the backstory of Undertaker and Kane when they were kids.
When they were kids?
Funeral home. Yeah, the funeral home burns down, and it went to, what was it? I think it was WrestleMania 14 when Kane and Taker fought each other.
Yes.
So it was like intercut with that. It was like WrestleMania 14 was going on. Then you had a flashback of that whole story of when they were kids. And I got to draw that. And let me tell you, that was like
a dream come true.
Yeah. My 13-year-old like animal was just like, this is the best.
I can't believe this. Yeah. That's amazing. That's amazing. And any of those comics, are we allowed to purchase those on a website or on WWE.com, or how does that work? Or
no, you get them at a comic store through a company called Boom Studios.
Boom Studios, okay.
WWE, but like everything I did had to go to WWE.
Okay.
So WWE had to look at all my work and approve it. And when I was talking about Kevin in particular, they hired me to do a cover. And it's one of my favorite covers I've ever done for a comic. And it's just like a here-up shot of Kevin when he was the U.S. champion.
Yes.
And he's got the U.S. championship belt and an American flag behind him and a giant bald eagle on his shoulder.
That's when he called himself the face of America. That's around that time.
Yeah. And Matt Martell gave it to him. The original, the actual drawing gave it to him. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Bruno, you wanted to ask him any specific questions, or? No? Yeah, I think I covered everything. Okay, we'll go into the mother trucker to end it, and then we'll do a little just for your social media and stuff, and then we'll round it off from there. So, Mother Trucker, like we said, it's coming out in December. Is there something you could preview for us so that people are ready for it in December? Like they're excited to go and grab it?
Yeah, if you go on Kickstarter and type in Mother Trucker, there's actual pages from the book that you can see. There's all the artwork that you need to see like on there. So it's got like I think it's like an 8 or 10 page preview of the book that's on there, where it's Big Rig taking on Gigantruck and Truck Off 3. Really good.
I love the names and everything. That's
that's like my favorite part, naming wrestlers. Gigantruck. Yeah, it's like my Andre the Giant, Gigantruck, and Big Rig. It's my Hulk Hogan Macho Man guy.
Oh my God.
And yeah, you can check that out, and then watch the video, and you can watch Speedball, Prophet, and the Raccoon.
Just one thing I forgot to ask you. Sexy Eddie named his 3 smelliest wrestling, the guys that had the smelliest wrestling gear. Who are your 3 that you've experienced? I'll name you the 3 he named me. He named me Viking, Sami Zayn, and Jeremy Prophet. Top 3 right there.
Well, I have to admit something. When I was a kid, I was in a car crash with my dad, like a head-on, and I lost my sense of smell. So, but we had, I think it was CBC, show up to the dojo one time, and there was 2 occasions that were really gross when it comes to my gear. But that occasion was right after Heavy Mania, and during Marilyn Manson, it poured rain on my wife and I.
I'm already thinking of the story that you're gonna say.
Yeah, it's so gross. So we went to the wrestling tent, and I had enough gear in there that we could get dressed again. We were just dressed like wrestlers for the rest of the day, the rest of the night. And I forgot like my wet T-shirt in there, and the animal has fur. So that stinky wet T-shirt smell got into the fur, and then the CBC lady had us wrestling her in the ring. And someone was like, "What the fuck is that stink?" I'm like, "I don't know." And then they were like, "Oh, dude, your fur smells like shit." Like, and then I found the shirt, and it was like 4 days later, it was still soaking wet. I was like, "Oh, that's garbage." Like now all the animal fur smells like shit. And then there was another time where I didn't realize he was deathly allergic, but PCP Crazy Manny's weakness is he's allergic to fish. It'll kill him.
Ooh.
And I had a match against Max Testosterone, Big Max, and Matt Martell. Someone else was in that match too. Anyway, I had a match where it was like a 3 or 4-way dance. And in that match, I pulled out a giant red snapper, like a big red snapper I'd caught, and I was beating Matt Martell with it. It was really fun. Like I just thought it would be dope.
That's different. That's different. I've never seen someone plunge a fish into the ring.
Yeah, and it's real hard to get your teeth through a fish. Like you can't do it. So I had a mouthful of scales, and then I took 2 F5s from Big Max. And I was like choking on actual fish scales while I'm taking F5s. It really it was so dumb. In hindsight, I'll never bring a fish into a ring again.
Especially if Manny's in the ring as well, too, right?
Oh, you're so mad at me. I didn't know you were gonna die. Yeah, and like
you know what? I didn't bring that up too. You fight? Do you know Evil Uno as well, or?
Very well. Yeah. Uno's a good buddy of mine, and probably my best match I've ever had was against Uno. My top 2 matches I've ever had were, one was a match against Uno, and then the very next day I had a match against Frankie the Beast King. And those 2 matches on that weekend were the best matches I've ever had.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, they were both so good to work with, so fun, so clear in the ring, like audibles and they're like Animal's a big character.
Yeah.
So it kind of like takes another big character for everything to like work.
To make sense. Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
like sometimes I'll take on a guy who doesn't have a lot of character. So it's like I'm working the whole time to be this big character, but I'm just, I'm with a wrestler. But if I have another guy that's got like this wild giant character, I can play more. You know what I mean? Like I can play.
It must be cool to see Excalibur, Evil Uno with the Dark Order and everything. He's rocking and rolling there with AEW. It's good for him. Fuck.
So I want to tell you a story that's really funny.
Yeah, go for it.
Real quick. We had that match, and then after, like even during the match, there were parts where I thought we were gonna like start breaking out laughing. But like after the match, we went and had a bunch of beers together and watched some bands, and we were like laughing, but really like talking about how well the match went. Like it was very fun. And that doesn't happen a lot where after the match, you're like, you just kind of go off together and be like, dude, that was unreal. The crowd went bananas. They went bananas. I ended up taking the championship that weekend.
Wow.
And
Congratulations.
Yeah, it was really, really, it was my first belt. It was really cool. And then when we were eating, I said to him, I was like, I would love to do a thing where Animal shows up to the ring wearing an Uno mask and then he's got an Animal mask. And he was like, that is hilarious. He's like, there should be more guys wearing Uno masks. And then literally he gets on AEW and he's got like the Dark Order with all the dudes.
That's sick, man. That's
like,
crazy.
oh my God, I remember when he came up with that. Like I remember when he had that idea.
That's
for the first time.
amazing.
And then Jericho pulling the mask off and he was one. I was just like, I'm so happy for Uno. So I've done a lot of t-shirts for Uno.
Oh, really? Wow,
I think I've done like 5. Yeah.
Okay, cool. And so tell everybody where they can find you on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Give them the whole rundown where they can find the Animal.
So look for Mother Trucker on Kickstarter. Just type in the search. But on Instagram, look at Andy_Belanger. He's this guy that just handles my social media.
He's the other guy in the situation.
At Andy Belanger on Twitter. And that's my handler. He does all my like day stuff. But that's where you can find me. You can find my work, all my drawing stuff, all my wrestling stuff. It's all there.
It's all there. And if you guys go check him out on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, you can also check out Jofo in the Ring on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter as well. Jofo in the Ring, one word. Jofo in the Ring on YouTube. We got all our past episodes. We got clips. We got promos, top 5s. Check out Jofo Podcast every Monday, 9 p.m. and us, 7:15 p.m. on the Jofo in the Ring YouTube page. The Animal Bob Anger, thank you very much for being here. And I hope we get to, you know what? Once everything opens up again, you are always welcome to come in studio. I would love to see you in that gimmick inside the studio at Jofo Studios.
Jofo, the posts are my trees, and the ropes are my branches. And that is where the animal hunts, and I'm gonna bring it to you.
And everybody, so like I said, go follow us on YouTube. Go follow Andy Belanger on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Mother Truckers coming out in December. Get your copy. Help them out on Kickstarter. And everybody, remember, wrestling is life.
Boring. So boring, Scuds. This one's soaking wet. It's so watered down. Man, comics used to be so rad. What happened? Whoa! Animal Bob Anger!
Howdy, boys. How you doing? You guys like comics? I make comics. I make this comic, Mother Trucker. What do you think?
Whoa!
Yeah.
Animal, you make comics?
Sure do. This is Mother Trucker. It's about a space trucking, ass stomping wrestle goddess who's flying throughout the galaxy trying to get new contracts and to be the greatest truck off champion of all time.
Whoa, Animal, this is rad.
Yeah! Where can we buy them? I want to bring these to all my friends at school. Can we have these ones?
No, hey, listen, guys. Animal's not made of money. I can't afford to make more than 2 of these. My papa printed these for me. Give them back. Maybe one day, when Animal has a pile of money, he can make more of these. But not today. This is all you get. A little sneak peek. See you later.
Wait, Animal! Wait!
Haven't you heard of Kickstarter?
You can make this dream come true!
You haven't heard of Kickstarter?
Guys, printing a lot of comics costs a fortune. It's really expensive.
Kickstarter can raise money for your project.
Quarter Animal!
Distribution costs a fortune. Distribution costs a fortune. Oh, guys, it's gonna cost too much. It's too expensive.
You'll never make your space wrestling comic book. Just give up. Just give up.
Never. Hey, Kickstarter's the way then. I'm gonna kickstart this thing! Woo! Yeah! Animaniacs! Animal Bob Anger here, and Animal has a dream. And that dream is not just delivering top rope clotheslines, or body slams, or kryptonite crunches. That dream is to bring you the greatest space wrestling comic ever made, called Mother Trucker. Yeah! Mother Trucker is a comic about a smoking, space trucking, ass stomping wrestle goddess who trucks through the galaxy looking for her long lost kid and to become the greatest champion of truck-off, the Wrestlemania of the Starways. Animal's dream is to bring you a comic straight from my own paws to you in your hands. No more middlemen, pure, unadulterated Animal. It will be 36 pages of full-color action with alternate covers by Eisner winner Carl Kerschel and Eisner winner and AVA winner Kerry North. The far-out coloring will be by Tato Caballero, who worked with me at Heavy Metal Magazine. Lettering will be by my man Serge Lapointe. And the radical graphic design is by Dres 13. The book is in the can. We are ready to rock. So jump in the ring with the Animal and let's truck off with Mother Trucker.